How we all doing? It is going to be a absolutely crazy long stream. I hope it won't be. We ran late starting today because there is so much to talk about. I'm just looking at all the stuff we have to talk about today, all the slides, all the images. Probably a record for the Slag podcast in its 9 years. How we all doing? My name's Protoman. This is the face that runs the place. This is the Transformer Slag podcast live stream main event. Welcome. It is a Saturday night, and we are going to be chilling like villains, talking about the robots in disguise. How we all doing? Nice to see all the peeps. I apologize again for being half an hour late. Normally we like to do this at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but I just could not get everything all together set up in time. Not to mention OBS recently, which we use for our streaming service, has been having a lot of problems with their server, so all kinds of weird stuff been going on recently. I got 2 bottles of water today because it is going to be a busy one indeed. What I also suggest, because we're going to be doing so much today, that you are welcome to do your super chats during the news, because it is going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot to talk about. I almost break down every single thing too much. I think the only thing I don't break down crazy is Breakdown himself. Either way, guys, again, super chats, YouTube members, lay it on me. We'll try to get into those as much as we can today. Welcome, everyone. I believe Hasbro's Aaron Archer is here and a few others. It's going to be a good one indeed today. So, to quote Isabel from Hasbro's marketing, it was the Hasbro Pulse Transformer Tuesday. That's what she called it, which it should have been called, but it was the Fan First Tuesday. I don't even know why they called it Transformer Tuesday, because I felt sorry for the Power Ranger fans. Apparently 1 hour was dedicated to Transformers and 15 minutes was dedicated to Power Rangers. And well, it is what it is, sometimes. We already got some super chats right now. Princeton Phalanx 59. I never had a white whale until I've seen Mgo's video of the 2014, oh god, the Knights of Unicron box set. Yeah, that's a crazy one. Comes with a lot of soft goods and stuff too. Very weird one. Those were back in the day when San Diego Comic-Con exclusives could really be whatever they needed to be during a time when BotCon still was a thing. God, I miss BotCon. Anyways, thank you for the super chat, Princeton, and it's going to be a long night. Let's put it this way. So we're going to jump into it. Might as well. The first one that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Breakdown, probably the least exciting of the bunch in terms of the extra layers of what's going on here. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely awesome. My individual segment that I talked about this, the fact that they got the Fluoro Deary animation model dead on, the little details, the fine tuning, the fact that they removed the carbon fiber from the original Ferrari to add more of the Fluoro Deary designed kind of look. There is so much going on here that it's fantastic. I know there was people that were ragging on the backpack and stuff like that, but it gets to a point when you look at those old 1985 animation models of Season 2 Breakdown and all those other Scramble City molds, and there's only so much you could do with a deluxe price point. There's only so much. We got another super chat here by CN Williams. Do you think there will be an Earthrise Coneheads rerun? You'd probably have to ask Amazon on that one, because they paid Hasbro for the exclusive on that. And I've talked about exclusives in the past. If people don't realize, whenever there's an exclusive with a company or a business, they pay Hasbro for that exclusive. It's not really in Hasbro's hands, oddly enough. It's more in the hands of the individual that pays for that exclusive. And then it's up to Amazon if they want to pay again. So if they want to get another, let's say, 10,000 units of Coneheads, they'd have to then go to Hasbro and go, hey, can we have another 10,000 units of Coneheads? We know we paid for the exclusive. We'd like to have it again. So that being said, you'd probably have to email your Amazon person. Maybe, just call up Jeff Bezos. I'm pretty sure he'd take the call But either way, that's something that is up to Amazon. Unfortunately, it's kind of out of Hasbro's hands. Something that usually 5 to 6 years after the exclusive has kind of run its course, then they could kind of do something like that again. But anyways, back to Breakdown. This is fantastic. Again, they got back the trademark. It's not called, like, I think they called it Breakneck at one point. There was a whole bunch of things like that that's going on here that's fantastic, but it's probably the least exciting of the bunch, because let's get into all the stuff that has so many layers, so much stuff, so many different slides. Whew, it's going to be a big one. Giggity. Start with Knockout. So, here was one that was right in our face for 8 months and we didn't even know it. That was a tweet on my Twitter that went viral. I think it's at like almost 2,000 now or something. I don't even know anymore. 2,000 likes. But needless to say, I can't visit my Twitter for the next couple of days because it's just going to be notifications. And either way. So here we got Deluxe Class Knockout. A partial from the Studio Series 86 Jazz, a retool that is not too crazy, but still has a lot of stuff going on here. And it's absolutely interesting that not a lot of people put this together, because the comic book that this character came from, and more specifically this design, the Wreckers comic book of Tread and Circuits, had a lot of designs in that comic that we were like, oh, that's totally going to be, Hauler. That's totally going to be Minerva. That's totally going to be Leadfoot. Oh, there's our Road Rocket. And somehow a lot of us didn't think to look at Knockout and go, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, something's going to be going on here. And it's pretty fantastic. It's pretty fantastic that they managed to get one by us on this. But again, this was a design that really there's only so much that could have been done. And when you think about what Knockout's design is from Transformers Prime and the limitations that exist from that CG model, that really was unfortunately kind of impossible to be done within a deluxe price point, I think it could be done. I think that transformation could exist that is 100% accurate to the CG model, but then we're going into that territory of masterpieces and a really open-ended kind of design budget, that's something that Masterpiece or only third party could truly achieve, and then you kind of creep up on those 3 digits. But for something that's going to be an MSRP of $24.99, yeah, I think it's to be expected. And again, like if you want, I mean, you have your choices. Knockout was the Hall of Fame choice by the fans, and it shows that for the fact that literally there's going to be 2 different Knockout toys on the shelving at the very same time. So if you want that more Transformers Prime aesthetic, hey, it's there with the RED line. Yeah, it doesn't transform. Yeah, it's $22.99 and doesn't transform. But at least you kind of get that look. It has a little extra accessories too. It's not a terrible figure, but RED I've been kind of hot and cold about in terms of its purpose for a hardcore fan like me. But it does serve its purpose in the grand scheme of things. But this one here, I guess if you really loved that IDW comic, this is your interpretation of that. It's pretty cool otherwise. One thing to note that is interesting is that it doesn't have any clear weapons, so it kind of goes against the grain of what Legacy has been about with clear Energon weapons. And we're going to see more of that. Obviously, the Combiner limbs and stuff don't have clear Energon weapons. Not all of them, anyhow. And we have this kind of trident, kind of spear weapon that comes apart and then can be attached to the other Energon weapons and everything. And I see where they were going with it. I understand people's distaste and they don't like it, the overall aesthetic, because of how it looks. But I think that it's just a way to kind of put out that character that won the Hall of Fame. I truly believe, number one, I think that if you would have not won the Hall of Fame, I don't even think this release would exist. I think it probably would have been something else. For all we know, it would have been a Legacy, Golden Lagoon Jazz or something, or they would have just went with something else just completely off the cuff. Or maybe not even use the Jazz mold at all. Who knows? Who knows? But this was a fan vote kind of thing, and he got 2 different releases out of it. So not bad for a Transformers Prime character that doesn't have the, and I use the quote here, legacy of some of the other stuff here. It's pretty crazy, but I understand people's distaste. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is a boy that up to this point, this is about as good as it got for his Season 1 design. And I mean, this one here, this is the Transformers 10th Anniversary Edition Tarantulas, with had all that paint that was put on his face there to make him more show accurate. But it was, at the end of the day, a 1995 toy with its limitations. Always got to do that for the thumbnail if needed. But now we got something that literally is, like I call, a mini masterpiece. Mamma mia. Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Beast Wars Tarantulas of the Predacon Secret Police, possibly Unicronian, according to how I wrote his bio back in the Fun Pub days. My God, what a figure. Probably, without a doubt, the figure that I'm probably looking forward to the most out of everything of this release today. Of everything we're going to talk about today, anyhow. And, man, like, they knocked it out of the park. Whatever is going to be done and tooled from this in the eventual, one day, 5 years from now, maybe, when we finally get a Tarantulas masterpiece from Takara, they're going to learn from this. They're going to use this as the basis of understanding of how they're going to do that. And he looks stellar. He looks absolutely amazing. So Tarantulas was designed by Hasui-san. Hasui-san is a veteran within the Transformers brand on the Takara side, and it really shows that he just nailed it out of the park. I don't even know where to begin with him. The fact that the colors are dead on, the head sculpt is fantastic, the fact that they managed to do a transformation that hides some of those color palettes that are available in the robot mode exclusively, so you could still have that deep purple and everything. The veneering, if you will, of all of these surfaces. Veneering is the fine details on the surface of plastic that is done after it's in its prototype stage. So all that little like tarantula kind of veneering surfaces really pop and look very well on that purple. The multiple eyes, the fact that he still has his weapon, and the fact that they even said, hey, you know what? We have a little bit of extra plastic budget here, and why don't we do something a little extra? So they included even his Transmetal-One weapon. And that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. It even stores like his Transmetal-One weapon, which I'll show in our next image here. But fantastic. Also, again, an MSRP of $24.99. And along with all the deluxes that we're going to talk about today will be, according to Hasbro anyhow, this could change. Your stores could get shipments early and put them out. But December 1st, 2022 is this supposedly are all supposed to ship out. It'll probably break street dates. I'm predicting, no joke, probably August or something. But again, December 1st is what they say. But we'll see what happens with that. Let's talk about some of the other fine details. The fact that despite the fact that he's a deluxe, he's much more massive than Black Arachnia. He's his own tooling. It's not just a retooling of Black Arachnia. Obviously, the engineering is there. The similarities are there in terms of how the transformation works and stuff. But he really is his own tooling, his own mold, and his own style. And the fact that he's larger than Black Arachnia, which has always been something in the original show where he was much larger than Black Arachnia, is fantastic. Again, the colors, that's the thing that I always worry about is, oh man, is it going to have like the greens of his bottom shins? Is it going to have the greens of his shoulders? Will he be able to pull that off? Is that be able to be done? There's just so much going on. It looks so good. It looks so good. I am super impressed with what they did here. And the fact that you could take that little Transmetal-One weapon and store it under him, just like his Transmetal-One toy, there's just so much. It's fantastic. Again, hats off to Hasui-san for designing an absolutely stellar Transformer figure. Again, this is literally something that when they finally do get to doing a masterpiece, and they're going to have that open-ended budget. Imagine this was done with a deluxe class budget, which is crazy, and there was leftover budget, which really is a credit to Hasui and his ability to put something together in terms of plastics, decos, how the mold rolls out with the gang mold and everything. Fantastic stuff. Love it. And hopefully, when we finally do complete our Season 1 Predacons with a certain fire ant, hopefully he looks just as good. Because it seems like our Generation 1 guys, they're on the fence. Some of them look like their Generation 1 counterparts. Some of them are reimaginings of those designs within the limitations. Our other characters, are like that too. But man, Beast Wars has been spoon-fed the amazing over the past couple of days. And I am so stoked. I can't wait for when they get into Season 2 characters and Transmetals and Fusors and Season 3. It's going to be a good time to be a Beast Wars fan, and especially in 2023 when we're going to have also a Beast Wars kind of related movie. This is going to be absolutely stellar. I can't speak enough about him. I really can't. Next up, kind of a controversial one. There was the memes. People were making fun of her, but let's talk about Elita-One. Now, this one I personally feel is a classic example of we're not at the end of the road yet for this character. Much like how I showed you a Tarantulas figure right here and go, you know what? It's the best one we have right now, but it's not the best one we've had ever, and that'll come one day. I still feel that with Elita-One. I think that the Elita-One that we have here before us is going to be a fun toy, is going to be cool. I like what I see. But at the end of the day is a classic example of, it has other molds baked into it. There's a lot of other planning with this character. And at the end of the day, it's not supposed to be a standalone Elita-One mold, and it can't be the best Elita-One mold it can be. It still looks fun. I love that robot mode. They made an extra effort with the guns. Elita was done by Otaku-san. And Otaku-san originally wanted to do a dune buggy, which kind of tells me what they probably were planning for repaints and remolds. I think there was another Target Master on top of Point Blank that was planned. But they didn't go with a dune buggy. They went with this design instead, and then they obviously planned the other repaints that were around it. Chicken before the egg, because that little antenna on the roof there is actually removable for a certain light bar to be attached with another repaint, which we'll get into in a moment. The fact that they actually looked at the designs. She has two different designs for her guns in the show, and they actually tried to mimic those two designs for her guns and then turned them into large rifles. The fact that her two large rifles still have the clear plastic, so at least kind of keeps the Energon gimmick going in this case. A lot of cool stuff going on. I really like it. Still, I think it looks nice, but it's all really about what she is really intended to be, because I think that she wasn't the original intent, and here it is. Now, where do I even get into with this? So, number one, if you Google, I was told that if you Google Elita-One alt mode, you get an image from a fan. And there was a fan that did a custom piece of art for a bio of Elita-One, and he kind of made up an alt mode. And unfortunately, that alt mode is not legit. It's not the legit one, and that's the one that's in the circle here in the center. The one on the bottom left here is Fleur O'Deary's alt mode, the one who actually designed Elita-One. And unfortunately, on the top left there, that's about all we've ever seen of that alt mode in any form of animation. So I think one day we will get the proper Elita-One toy. I think it will happen. I think it's going to be probably a Voyager. I think it'll be legit a Voyager and it'll be done good. But we're not there yet. And this mold, it had to be something else. And on the top right image there, Mark, one of Hasbro's designers, mentioned how Elita-One's going to have a kind of two different ways to display her backpack. And I almost feel like the one there that's on the left of the two that he's showing is how you're supposed to display your Elita, while the one on the right is meant for a certain other character. And who is that character? Well, let's talk about Minerva on the bottom right here. Minerva was kicking around in the comic books, in the Wreckers comic book specifically 8 months ago, and she was sporting this design. If you look at the fine details, the veneers, the everything going on here, this is going to be Minerva. And Minerva is going to be a Walgreens exclusive. We don't have a release date yet, but we do know that she is coming at some point. And this will be the first time ever in the Western world that there'll be a Western release of the Minerva character. A toy that is ridiculously expensive. And I only wish that people could be able to own the original. Maybe they'll do a reissue. They'll get that Minerva trademark and do a reissue. And then people won't have to spend stupid money on getting one. Lord knows I did. But this is awesome. Finally, we're going to get a good Minerva figure after all these years. Not just some kind of repaint homage, not some kind of human interpretation, not a PVC, not a Kotobukiya figure, not a Wonderfest model kit. Not an homage of, hey, let's use this mold. We're going to get a brand new Minerva. So, again, I don't have anything wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Elita-One. I still think it looks fantastic. I can't really decide if I like her RC repaint retool or this one more. I'm kind of on the fence on both of them. The Power of the Primes one it is what it was. I liked it, but there was, it had its little things here and there. But it's, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, I really feel at the end of the day, this thing was meant to be Minerva from day one. And it having to be Minerva kind of hindered Elita-One's situation. And we don't know what Minerva's alt mode looks like. She never showed her alt mode in the comics at all. Perhaps even the artist of the Wreckers comic book didn't know what that alt mode was going to look like. And so all the fine veneer detail is hard to see that would have been the alt mode, because those shoulders are the front of the car. And we don't really get a good shot of it in all the 4 issues of Wreckers. So we'll see what happens. But if you want to get an idea, Illusory Monk already kind of did a Digibash. I like the use of the clear pink Energon for the guns. That's a nice touch. I kind of hope that actually does happen. It kind of works, even though a dark black would be more accurate to the original Minerva. But here's something to give you a bit of an idea of what you could potentially be getting at Walgreens one day. One day. But awesome stuff otherwise. Another one I'm very excited about, to say the least. Now then, we had G1. We had Beast Wars. We even talked about some combiners. Let's talk about G2. Let's talk about G-Axis. My goodness. Here's another one that absolutely knocks it out of the park, and probably my second favorite announcement of the day. And it actually put to rest some worries that I had about the G-Axis toy. Because when we saw those listings a while back, they said, okay, we're getting a Legacy G-Axis. It's going to be a Voyager class. And part of me was going, oh boy, this could go one of a few ways. This could be a retool of the Starscream molds, the Seekers, and they'll just kind of give a G-Axis head and a little bit of G-Axis flavor on it. It could be a retool repaint of the Voyager class Studio Series 86 Scourge. Hear me out. I'll explain that in my other slide. Trust me, I was so worried that it was going to be that Scourge mold. You have no idea. But in the end, they just gave us something that was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, when we're talking this guy, we have a whole kind of situation where you have Yuya-san, who did his design, and Yuya-san based it off of some Dan Kahana concept art. Dan Kahana was an artist that was in the Transformer fandom for many, many years, 25 plus years. And he did some art for a Transformer book called Genesis, The Art of Transformers. Came out in, I want to say 2003, many years ago. And it kind of was a really good profile of that Generation 2 character. So Yuya-san took Dan Kahana's concept art and went to town and did an absolutely one-for-one perfect robot mode of the character. Now, by achieving that perfect robot mode, obviously you have to sacrifice the alt mode, because now the robot mode is perfect. He's not exactly going to be able to turn into what he turned into in the comic, which is maybe a good thing. Let me tell you something. Because he actually turned into something that looked like Scourge with some bat wings. But still, I think this looks fantastic. The G2 logo on the chest, the shoulder cannon, the head sculpt is spot on. The choice of colors that are so 90s it hurts. The weapons that he have that are straight up out of the G2 comics, because they were so 90s it hurt. It was so extreme. It looks amazing. And supposedly we might see an Armada Starscream retool out of this. I could somewhat see it, because people are pointing out some of the holes that are in certain areas and how it could be used for the wings and for the shoulder cannons for the Null Ray blaster from his Minicon gimmick. I could see it, but again, still a lot to be seen. Now let's talk about that alt mode. So his alt mode appeared only in 2 panels in all of Transformer history. We have the 1994 G2 comic book, the Manny design, as I like to call it, which had more of kind of a Batwing kind of look, but still had a sweep kind of body to it, right, with the sweep cannon on the head and everything. And then, of course, that design appeared later on again in the Transformers Regenerations comic. And I was like, oh man, when you look at the Studio Series 86 Scourge, he's got those 2 holes on the side that they could plug in some wings and then do something, and then there's going to be our G-axis. But I was really hoping they weren't going to do that. Imagine doing that in hot orange, old G-axis from RED. But they didn't do that. Instead, Yuya-san put a strong emphasis on a perfect robot mode and then built a brand new alt mode out of it to really make something fantastic while still keeping the colors and the ideas of what existed back from the old G2 comic book. So I think he's fantastic. He's number 2 on my list of everything here. Super, super cool. And yet again, one of those characters long overdue for a decent toy. Absolutely long overdue. I mean, when he got that Generations version, which was just a retool of the Armada Starscream Deluxe class, I mean, they even did it dirty, because like they did him dirty by giving him all that orange, because that everyone wanted to buy an homage to a Robots in Disguise 2001 Beast Wars Jetstorm repaint. Good lord. What's up, Aaron? But man, they really knocked it out of the park. Super impressed by this. Absolutely going to be a day one kind of purchase thing. Looks good. Looks really good. And now going from really good and really exciting to maybe people don't care too much, but there is some good that you could take from it. Let's talk about, no booing now, Siege Soundwave. This was the one that kind of made some people depressed. There was a lot of hopes that it was going to be the Netflix Soundwave being reissued. People getting finally an opportunity to get that Voyager class figure. Some people were disappointed because they thought it was going to be a Transformers Prime Soundwave, because the listing said PR Soundwave, so they thought, oh, maybe Transformers Prime Soundwave. But PR stands for Package Refresh. And a package refresh, it kind of is a little bit. So in the middle there is the Siege 2019 Soundwave, and with all his weathering and damage on him. And on the left here, you have the Legacy one that has all of that weathering and damage removed. And the way that I look at it, there's 2 ways that you can look at it from a positive. Number one, on the right there, the top right, Siege Soundwave in the show didn't really have that much damage on him. Very little damage and very little weathering. So if you want something that's a little more Netflix show accurate, I guess the Siege Soundwave that's now in Legacy would be the way to go. You get a much more accurate version through that one. That's one positive way to look at it. The other positive way that you could kind of look at it is if you didn't pick up this figure, which when you kind of think about it is now 3 years old, gives you a second opportunity. Now here's the negative though. So in 2019, Siege Soundwave was $29.99 with that extra paint on it. 3 years later now, in 2022, with less paint on him, he's now $33.99. So a solid $4 increase in 3 years. Now, we've talked about inflation on the podcast many times and how it was coming. But so you will be paying more, though, for a toy that kind of is a little less, but more of a purchasing opportunity. But I know that it got a lot of flack. People were not happy about it and what it could have been. But I think also maybe there was a diversity choice, maybe because you had G1, you had G2, you had Beast Wars, you had Transformers Prime, you have Combiner limbs from G1, you have female characters from G1. Now you got to have some pre-G1, some pre-Cybertron. Here's Siege Soundwave. I think they should have, if they wanted to do something like that, I would have taken like Origins Cliffjumper and turned it into, Origins Bumblebee and turned it into Cliffjumper or something. Give it a red repaint. I think people would have appreciated that more. But again, the slots are there. They needed to fill in a Voyager, and Soundwave stepped up to the plate. Again, MSRP $33.99, and much like our Galvatron, less weathering and more price. Take from that what you will. All right, next up, another one that's kind of, don't boo too much. No. Let's talk about Blitzwing. This was a Lenny design along with Hasui-san. This is our new leader class price point at $55.99. Oddly, the leader classes are going to be hitting early, according to Hasbro, October 2022. And here is our Blitzwing. Now, we've already kind of talked about Blitzwing in nauseam. At least the one good thing we could say is we finally get to see how he looks transformed properly. Because, if you steal it, you don't have the instructions, right? Have to do a little nod to that. The only thing that we could take away from this in terms from the stream that we got from Hasbro is the fact that they wanted to do, hey, here's a triple changer. And because we have triple changer, why don't we do a triple changer Energon weapon? So the weapon itself is a triple changer. It turns from boosters for the back of the jet mode to turrets for the tank mode to giant Hulk hands for the robot mode. So it's a triple changer weapon for a triple changer character, but still looks pretty good. I mean, triple changers are always tough to engineer. There's always going to be some kind of big kibble hanging off. I know some people are kind of hot and cold about it. And combined with the fact that he is going to be $55.99 with the new MSRP, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow for a lot. And, but at the end of the day, I mean, the Voyager one that we got really was a Transformers animated character when you really look at it. And, it is what it is. And then when you keep going down the history of Blitzwing figures, there's not much you could pull from that's of Generation 1 flavor outside of going into third party. So this is what you got. Maybe we'll get something a little bit different in the future, but this is what we got for the time being. And this is going to be showing up in October from what we were told here. Now let's talk about the centerpiece, the Commander. Let's talk about Motormaster. Man, oh man. So Motormaster was designed by Ajima-san. Ajima was basing this design off of a Dan Kahana concept sketch that was very slavishly loyal to the Fluoro Deary animation model. And that's a good thing because all the little details of that animation model show through here, right down to where the Decepticon logos are in both alt mode and in robot mode on the shoulder, the way the head sculpt is, the little details and veneering on the chest and on the legs. It's all there. It looks absolutely fantastic. Ajima-san did a little segment talking about his intent when he was designing this. and how he wanted it to, when he's in robot mode, to scale face to face with Optimus Prime. So that the Earthrise one specifically, to kind of reenact the Generation 1 episode where they're literally rivals and they're the same height. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I think it looks great. Comes with his sword, comes with an undocumented alt mode, kind of base mode, which is pretty cool, which adds to the rivalry thing because our Laser Prime, who's our leader class from Wave 1, has a base mode. So they could be like one Autobot base versus a Decepticon base. There's a lot of toyetic play patterns going on here. I love that it has the double barrel gun, which again goes to the the Menasor nature. There's a lot of cool stuff here. A lot of cool stuff. But there's even more. So Mark also showed how the combiner mode's going to work. Now, we predicted this months ago, how it was going to be a skeletal design and you just kind of click on the members of the Stunticons. Again, to achieve that accuracy to the Flero Deary redesign or reimagination of the 1986 toy, you had to do stuff like that. There is some interesting, concepts and ideas like the auto transforming or the mech tech like kind of transforming shins. When you plug in, let's say, breakdown, the shin automatically transforms and creates the detail in the front, and that detail that exists on the shin is the same detail that exists on the chest of breakdown. So that's a nice touch. Again, what it does confirm though is you probably can't mix and match these guys like the original Scramble City guys. So you're just going to have to deal with animation accuracy, if anything else. We got a super chat here from Alejandro. And Alejandro wants to know, for $5, evening proto with the success of the Sonic 2 movie. And since Paramount has licensed that and Transformers, could maybe we get a Sonic TF crossover? My friend, well, you can't see it, but there already is a Sonic crossover. Look up Robot Masters. What was his name? It was a repaint of Snarl from Beast Wars. They did a blue repaint of Snarl. I forget what his name was. But you got your Sonic the Hedgehog Transformer right there. Video game stuff, I don't know. Would Sega want to play ball? Who knows? Who knows? And then we got another super chat, $10 from Lizard Sphere X. When this was released, Target had a special where you could spend $100 online. You could get a $25 gift card, which means you could get a Limboy for free. They seem to time these sales with the TF pre-orders. If that sale is still available, be sure to take advantage of it. Thanks again for the super chats, guys. That's actually a good deal, though. Too bad I can't take advantage of that. As a Canadian, so again, you could see on the bottom right there, you got a Jima-san showing off the 2. It looks really cool. Again, I'm hyped about it. I will say one thing, though. There was a whole bunch of Combiner Wars, Menasors hitting the buy-sell trade forums literally after this stream. I'm just going to get some water here. It's absolutely hilarious how, literally, I joked about it. I'm like, oh man, like after this stream is done, so many United Warrior Menasors and Combiner War Menasors are going to end up on the buy-sell trade forums. And like clockwork, just on Facebook alone, all of them were just popping up. People getting rid of their limbs and this and that. And I was like, well, it is what it is. This is our new hotness. This is our new hat. And we have Motormaster. Now, Motormaster Commander class is going to be $89.99. That's Hasbro's MSRP. And is planning to ship out December 1st of 2022. Again, these street dates could be broken earlier, but this is what Hasbro has listed right now on their Hasbro Pulse website. It's pretty cool. But we're not done with big guys that turn into trucks. But before we do that, let's talk about now our full wave. So, what we are looking at here is the entire Wave 2 of Transformers Legacy. Now, on the right there, we have one of the leaked core classes that fell into the hands of some of the seedy stolen individuals. So we have our G2 Megatron that is just a repaint of the Kingdom Megatron on the right there. And we supposedly have a package refresh of our core class Optimus Prime and a supposed Shockwave. Now, we don't know if the Shockwave is just going to be also a package refresh of the core class Shockwave from Studio Series that we had recently with the Bumblebee movie, or is it going to be its own kind of Shockwave? That is still yet to be seen. That'll be an announcement we'll get at some point somewhere. But as it stands right now, and this photo really emphasizes it, we have Elita-One against a slew of Decepticons, and it's only a core class Optimus to her rescue. So pretty funny stuff when you really think about it. Very Decepticon heavy, this entire wave. Very Decepticon heavy. Crazy stuff. We got a 17-month member, Orlando, and he says here, can you see Motormaster being turned into a Thunderclash repaint? Let's see. It's a good question. Well, Thunderclash also has that notorious... Oh, man, you could barely see him. You could see Thunderclash. You can't see his base mode, though. But Thunderclash had a big play set, too. So I could totally see that happening. If they, if they did something really cool with the chest of Motormaster and gave him a brand new head sculpt, I could totally see it happening 100%. And then that base mode, give it a little bit of that UK Thunderclash kind of base mode feel to it. Give it the gold missiles and all those little colors and stuff. I could see it happening. The question is, though, and this is a very key thing that people need to understand. I always say look at history, right? So here's all our commander classes. We got Jetfire, we got Skylynx, we got Rodimus, and now we got Motormaster. Only one of them has gotten a repaint thus far, and that one repaint that it got thus far has been a Shattered Glass kind of exclusive nature. So if we got Thunderclash in a commander class, which is a big expensive price point to begin with, and Thunderclash still kind of an obscure character with the mainstream audience, would they be able to pull that off? I feel that if we did get a Thunderclash, it would have to be something very similar to how we got, let's say, Black Zarek, in that it's going to have to be a Hasbro Pulse thing. Because Black Zarek, again, super obscure, Master Force leader character, Titan class, expensive price point, Hasbro Pulse. Maybe make some limited units of it, maybe only, 10,000 units. Hasbro Pulse, Thunderclash. I could see it like that. But for something that's going to be on the shelves at Walmart or Target, that's a different story. So you might get what you want, Orlando. You might get what you want, but you might not like how you're going to have to get it. Let's put it that way. And heaven help us if they literally, man, heaven help us if he gets scalped. That's a whole other story. Let's talk about another evil truck. An evil truck he is. Let's talk about Shattered Glass Menasor. Menasor. I am missing it today. Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus. But Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, what's amazing about this is a Hasbro Pulse store exclusive. MSRP $62.99, still has not sold out yet. They are aiming to have this ship out October 1st of 2022. And what's amazing about this one is it's actually 3 different characters in one, depending on how you want to display it. Because he could be Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, with his skull head. He could be Delta Magnus with the regular head, aka Powered Convoy, the Diaclone origins of this character, although it doesn't really have the hard red. It's more of a pink hue, but still pretty close. Or you could have the inner robot, Magna Convoy, who is the leader of the Blue Order and a member of the Primus Vanguard, which used to be an E-Hobby exclusive back in 2017. And on the right side of this image here, you have all the origins of each one of those. So again, the Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus was originally a G2 Optimus Prime Deluxe Class repaint from BotCon 2012, which had that skull face, and that's where that skull face came from. There's the Diaclone Delta Magnus, aka Powered Convoy, from back in the 70s. And then you have Magna Convoy there. One of the last E-Hobby toys, actually, now that I think about it. E-Hobby exclusive 2017. And he came with a big sword from the Transformer Prime molds, and so it kind of works well with the fact that the Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus here has the sword weapons that come from the Laser Rod Optimus Prime, or Laser Optimus Prime from Legacy. So you could kind of put that in his hand too. There's a lot of stuff going here. It's a fun little figure that has a lot of different history throughout Transformers' history. And it does continue the Shattered Glass legacy. We got a super chat here from T-Formers 2002 for $10. A nice gold super chat. If they did Motormaster Thunderclash, it would be a perfect callback to the Universe Motormaster that was canceled. Oh, that is true, too. There was that Universe Motormaster that was going to use the Machine Wars Optimus Prime mold, actually. It wasn't going to use the Thunderclash mold, although the Machine Wars Optimus Prime was from the Thunderclash mold. It actually used the Machine Wars Optimus Prime retooling, which had different missiles and stuff like that. Again, you can barely see them over there. That's the Machine Wars section. There's the play set. Sometimes I wish I could just pull these things out and show it to you guys. Giggity. But yeah, no, that's actually that's another thing too. You could kind of like say it's a reverse homage in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of extra layers to that. It's kind of a shame that one never came out because I love that mold. And again, it only had those two versions. It just had Thunderclash and then it had Machine Wars Optimus Prime. And then we got a super chat from Joseph Ritter, who is the beefy buff boy of the TF universe. By the way, a birdie told me that the link to beefybuffboys.com will go to a special plush mon at Symbiote. Oh, it's a Symbiote Studios plug, is it? Is that why we're talking about plush here today? Don't worry, we'll have the Symbiote Studios plug in a moment. It's just we have so much news today. It's absolutely crazy. Joseph is one of the Symbiote Studios people and all our crazy plush and Transformer pins. And you got to get that Cat Bravo one over there. But we'll get into that in a moment. Thank you, Joseph, for the super chat. So then, but yeah, this is really cool. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of stuff to discuss. It's just pretty much the cool thing about it also is if you go to his sales page on Hasbro Pulse, they have a listing confirming that there will be more Shattered Glass stuff, and a new Shattered Glass character will be revealed every single month for the next 5 months. So at some point in May, we're going to learn about another Shattered Glass toy that'll go up for pre-order. And then after May, June, July, August, and September, we got a whole bunch of Shattered Glass stuff. So at least that also tells us, maybe, just maybe, we might get some little Fan First Fridays, Transformer Tuesdays, Cybertron Saturdays, Warpath Wednesdays, whatever they want to call it, Megatron Monday. We're probably going to get some more reveals in the near future. At least in May, they won't be keeping us waiting too long. So that's pretty hype too. That obviously tells us like wherever that twin cast is going to be at some point. Not to mention the twin cast, but also the Shattered Glass Blaster. So we'll see what happens with that mold and where it's probably going to end up somewhere in there for sure. Prince and Phalanx 59. Why didn't Hasbro use Laser Prime for the Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus? I think it's more so just because what do you do with Ultra Magnus? Like, let's put it this way, right? So the Laser Rod Optimus Prime one or the Laser Prime, we're going to get a Scourge repaint for sure. For sure, 100%. That's a given. We've already seen listings for it as Black Convoy. Then on top of that, we're probably going to get a Toxitron at some point. We'll get a Toxitron repaint, So on top of the Toxitron repaint, that's 2 repaints on that mold right there. Not assuming that they might even repack it at some point and use it as a leader filler at some point for maybe Wave 4 or Wave 5, because it was a Wave 1 leader. It'll probably be, a filler in a repack for leader Wave 4, which will be obviously a year practically after that. So that mold's going to see a lot of, traction. But the Earth mode Ultra Magnus, which was just in Kingdom, that's something that I'm pretty sure they're trying to figure out a way. How do we get more out of this mold? We did it as that spoiler box thing. We did it with the Siege one. It didn't sell very well. That ended up in clearance. I think they're just trying to say, how can we get some more mileage out of this mold? How can we get the most out of it? And the Shattered Glass comic book had Ultra Magnus looking like that to begin with. So I figured they'd put, the apples and oranges together and then go, hey, we'll put a brand new head sculpt on it too. and then we'll give it an extra head sculpt so it does double duty. So even if people don't want the Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, the G1 Diaclone kind of completist, they'll want to get it for the Delta Magnus kind of feel. And then, hey, if you're like a purist and you want to get the E-Hobby version with Magna Convoy in the center, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it attacks different kind of people and targets their wallets accordingly. Cringe McCringle with the $5 super chat. Good evening, Proto. Who all do you think will be the future Shattered Glass figures? Well, number one, we do know that we're going to be getting that Shattered Glass Blaster. That's a given, hopefully with that brand new smirking head sculpt that we saw. Supposedly, rumors are that we're going to probably be getting Soundwave. That's the rumor, but it's just a rumor right now. So we don't know with that. And then the other ones, anyone's guess. Take a mold that exists, see if it has shattered glass colors, and then make it happen. There's so many. Obviously, I think like a given would be like, wouldn't you? And this isn't just my bias, but shattered glass Hot Rod, aka Shattered Glass Rodimus. Just take that mold, give it the black repaint. You're going to get me to buy a bunch. And not to mention, when you're talking about Shattered Glass Hot Rod, at one point in his fiction, he had one of his hands surgically removed and they put a buzzsaw instead. And considering that the Studio Series 86 Voyager class Hot Rod comes with the buzzsaw accessory, it all just kind of works out. And then, of course, you get your Shattered Glass, extremely overpriced, expensive Amazon exclusive Ratchet to kind of complete the scene. And we're all good if your wallet isn't empty. But yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Oh, we got another super chat here from James Hopkins, and he wants to know, do you think they will retool Legacy Bulkhead into Prime Beast Hunters Optimus Prime? Well, the rumor is that it's going to be an Optimus Prime. There is a rumor that the Bulkhead Legacy is going to be an Optimus Prime toy. Which Optimus Prime, we don't know. That's the question, though. I hope that it's not just a boring vanilla G1 Prime with that, typical boring box. I hope, look, if it's Beast Hunters, again, go for those Transformer Prime fans. They are still a young demographic that's spending money. You might as well, if anything else. I could see it being that. But it could be any Prime. I just hope it's not G1 because, look, we already have a G2 Prime that's the G1 version. We're going to have that package refresh of the Core Class Prime that's going to be part of it too. Give us another something fresh and new. And speaking of fresh and new, how about some leaked stuff, guys? Let's talk about the two leaked images from the factories in Vietnam here. And on the left here, we got a clearly missing his head and some of his accessories, Titans Returns Twin Twist in a color scheme. And then on the right here, all the way on the far right, we got a Kingdom Waspinator in a certain color scheme. Now, when we originally reported this news, I talked about the Waspinator, and I was like, hey, man, it's totally the BotCon exclusive Paralyzer / Parasite repaint. It's based off of this for sure. And then I was saying to myself, well, then why was the name incorrect? Because there was a name inconsistency in the listings in the Walmart computers and everything, and in the Target computers. And apparently it's not that. It's actually doing something even deeper. So we got the Night Prowler of our Halloween Horicons of Cheetor, and we are just missing now Night Prowler's member, because he was a 2-pack that was going to exist for Halloween, for the Halloween Horicons, for the Transformers Universe line 1.0 back in the day. So we have now Halloween Horicon Waspinator. So now if you got Night Prowler, you got to pick him up to complete the set. This isn't the BotCon homage. This is Halloween Horicon Waspinator. Or whatever his Halloween Horicon name was going to be. Wasp Warp or whatever. Actually, that was Jesse's name, but either way. Trans Theories for $5 says here, do you think there will be any more Studio Series Bayverse boys in the pipeline for this year besides the rumors Fallen and Sideways? Supposedly there is going to be other ones. The rumor that JT Prime had was the Ice Cream Twins, if I remember correctly. And that was going to be a Voyager price point, which is going to be probably two not like Scout not deluxes together. But that was a listing for mid to late 2023. So that's in that like, weird kind of area where like, what's his name? Not Dead End, not Breakdown. Dead End, Breakdown, Wild Rider. Why am I blanking right now? Dead End, Breakdown, Wild Rider, and Drag Strip. Where Dead End is going to probably be much later and everything. Like, again, next year, 2023. It's going to probably be in that general area. But yeah, and supposedly the Fallen. I mean, that one I'm excited about too, because Fallen needs a good toy finally after all these years. And we'll see what happens. We will see. We will see. But yeah, getting back to this. So that's pretty hype though. Halloween HorrorCon set being completed. And then on the left here. So we know that we're getting a Amazon exclusive Wreckers set. That's going to be the next Amazon thing. Like we had all the other little Amazon sets. So we got another Amazon set that's in the queue where it's going to have a deluxe class Impactor. It's going to have a top spin, a twin twist, a lead foot, a Springer, a bulkhead, some kind of fossilizer mammoth, and some kind of fossilizer Spinosaurus. Me with my paleontology, huh? Some of them are pretty obvious. They're all going to be straight up repaints of, you could take a guess. I mean, the Leadfoot's probably going to be the Mirage mold, maybe the Kingdom one. But here we got a top spin. It's going to be a twin twist that's based off of the Diaclone color scheme, more specifically the Attack Drill Robo color scheme. And it has the Wreckers emblem right there on the tummy. So this is probably going to be that. So if you didn't get that Titans Return top spin and twin twist, who were ridiculously expensive in the secondary market because they came very late in the Titans Return line, you get another opportunity to pick up these molds. And they're pretty good molds. Again, I did a little teaser of it on my Instagram, which again, if you haven't been, go check out my Instagram. A lot of good photos there. So pretty hype stuff. Pretty cool stuff. We got two more super chats here. What do we got here, guys? Two more super chats. Twin Twist and Topspin deserve more love. Oh, yeah. After Huffer, they are the best. Well, they all were plentiful, that's for sure. Probably in all my years of buying and selling G1, I probably have handled more Topspin and Twin Twists. And probably right now, as we speak, in my storage locker for the parts parties, I probably have like 3 Topspin and 3 Twin Twists. The question is, what's your favorite boba tea flavor? I dig rosé, or I guess rose, or coconut. My favorite bubble tea flavor is taro. It used to not be my favorite flavor. When I first discovered bubble tea, I loved banana milk. I thought that would be my favorite ever. And then I was out with my friend, shout out to my friend Gary, Chinese friend of mine, and he ordered taro. And then when taro showed up and it was all purple, and I was like, what flavor did you order? Grape? He's like, nah, man, it's taro. I'm like, what's taro? He's like, picture this, man. It's a vegetable that when you puree it, it tastes like chocolate. And I was like, you're lying to me. He's like, you want to try? I tried it. Became my favorite bubble tea flavor ever. Try it. Trust me. Don't be scared of taro. It looks like a vegetable, but it'll blow your mind. Good stuff. Taro bubble tea. But before that, it was banana milk. Now it's always taro. Taro nonstop. T-O-R-A. R-A. I think it's taro. Whatever. You know how it's spelled. T-A-R-O. There you go. Joseph Dabs. Do I have to dab? Am I too old for dabbing? $10 super chat, gold super chat here. Any idea on the timeline for the G1 Gears, Brawn, Windcharger, and Insecticons and Dinobots? I would love it if we get a Brawn for deluxe class along with Windcharger and Gears. We don't know yet. That's way too long. The problem is Hasbro only has so many slots that they could do for their deluxe classes. And I mean, if you look at the list that we got thus far, literally going all the way up to early 2023, there's no room yet for those guys. But of the ones you listed, give me Brawn. Give me Brawn and then give me Outback. Give me the retool from that. I love Brawn. Brawn is like easily... Brawn and Cliff Jumper, probably my favorite mini-bots growing up. And I just always had a thing for Braun, and I was kind of sad when he died in the movie. He's really cool. Really, really cool. That's why I like when that Studio Series Bumblebee one came out. I'm like, yay, a good Braun figure. Very good Braun figure. And as for the Dinobots, I mean, we're just missing Swoop, and hopefully at some point when we get Snarl, if Snarl will happen. Supposedly Swoop's going to be a Voyager and Snarl will be a leader class. But we don't know with that yet. We don't know. And Insecticons, oh yeah, they're going to come for sure. Man, they're going to do the Insecticons, and then they're going to take those Insecticons and they're going to retool them to make the deluxe Insecticons. We already know that Ransack is on his way. That's going to be a retool of Kickback, you know. So for sure. Insecticons, any of those team kind of stuff, it's a given. Hasbro knows that people like to collect them all. Why would they pass up on money? But yeah, that's it more or less. There's just that. I mean, there's so much other news. But, the RoboSen Optimus Prime, that now it's just the trailer. So now you have to spend another $700. And, I mean, that trailer, it's pretty cool, that trailer. Hey, it moves around and it self-transforms. But, I mean, I have an Armada Optimus Prime that has a self-transforming trailer, and it didn't cost me $700. And here's our segue to Armada. If you have not listened to it already, part 2 of our Armada episode of the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer is live. It's been live for about, a week and a half now, 2 weeks. It's been getting a lot of views and a lot of interest. So if you want to learn about the history of how Unicron finally got his first retail figure, if you want to learn about why Tidal Wave is not purple in the Western world, but he was purple in the Eastern world, if you want to learn about how Transformers as a brand was able to grow beyond its limitations of what existed prior to that with Beast Wars and Beast Machines, don't get me wrong, Beast Wars was a success. But from a marketing standpoint and a licensing standpoint, because I love Beast Wars, but it had like a card game, puzzles, and that's about it. So again, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, throw it in your YouTube machine, do a search for the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, and check out all the episodes, but more specifically, the 2 Transformer episodes about Transformers Armada. And we have more in the queue coming, but of course, we talk about not just Transformers, but all kinds of Hasbro and Kenner brands. So we talked recently about Star Wars and Batman and Aliens and Predator and Jurassic Park toys. Check it out. It's a visual podcast. Some episodes are an hour or 2 hours long. So you get a lot of cool behind-the-scene images and development stuff. Really cool stuff. The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer and this ugly face who's hosting the show. The hostess with the mostest. And also, since I got your ear right now, how about a sponsor? Symbiote Studios. Wearing today, let's just show it off, the Grimlock shirt today. Me, Grimlock. And, of course, the Cat Bravo pins. Again, the Cat Bravo collaboration is happening right now. And it is that of Symbiote Studios with their plush pins and T-shirts. On the bottom right there is the Cat Bravo stuff. Catnip Bravo, excuse me. Catnip Bravo chilling in the back over there with all the others. God, I'm going to try to... I have to get like a nice big shelving just in the back there for everybody. As well as the brand new pins on the bottom there. There's a new set of pins of Optimus, Bumblebee, Grimlock, Soundwave, and my boy, Shockwave. Awesome stuff. Of course, you could also get the 2-pack pins with the Autobot or Decepticon logos, the giant Unicron plush, and then some. And of course, if you're not interested in Transformers, then why are you here? But if you're not interested in Transformers and you like other Hasbro brands, you also have the Magic the Gathering pins, the helmet collection pins of Power Rangers, the Power Ranger plush, the G.I. Joe plush, the G.I. Joe t-shirts. And if you're feeling a little frisky, some My Little Pony, where friendship is magic. And of course, we have still much more to come with Symbiote Studios, the official Transformer plush line by Hasbro and Symbiote Studios. Wave 4 is still rolling out. We'll have some new announcements in the near future. And again, so far we got V2 Soundwave, which was at the beginning of the year. We have Catnip Convoy, a.k.a. Catnip Bravo Optimus Prime. And now we have 4 others still to go. I don't know who they are, though. I mean, I don't know anything about Transformers. So I'm going to take a guess. It's Devastator, Slipstream, Exhaust, and Detritus? Yeah, sure. Yeah, probably. Maybe. But what do I know? SymbioteStudios.com. Check the link in the description below. They're our sponsor, but they're also some really awesome people. And they give you, they have big plush. Look at the size of that Unicron. Look at that. Look at that's my fist. Look how big that is. Yeah, I'm going to punch Unicron. But yeah, so check that out, guys. And that's it, more or less. We'll just take some super chats, and then we'll just relax for the rest of the evening. Again, I apologize for the late start. There was just so much going on. It was just absolutely crazy. And when I started putting together all of those segments and everything, and I had to change my winter tires, and I grabbed a shower at the last second after doing some garage work. That's why the hair is all over. I need to get another haircut, guys. More than anything, just I need to get another haircut. I don't think I'll buzz it though, but just needs to be kept. Princeton Phalanx 59 with the YouTube member question. Hey Proto, did you see the new images of the 2 fembots of CDL? One is Elita, the other one is called Cat. Yeah, Michael Koo sent me an image of Cat, which was the black one, if I remember correctly. And he didn't show me what the alt mode is. He just showed me the sexy robot mode. And I was just like, well, what does it turn into? It looks like an RC kind of alt mode, though, I guess. They look cool, though. I mean, I don't know if it's $100 and something cool. That's kind of always been the breaking point with me. Look, all that third-party stuff looks awesome. It's just, for me to spend hundreds of dollars on third-party stuff, that's where it's like, hey, if you send it to me for free, I'm cool with that. But, I mean, it looks awesome. It looks really cool. I have no problem with sexy action figures. You know what I mean? That I'm all for it. I have no problem with sexy male action figures. Make them buff too. Stinkfist69 says, with the member YouTube question, what's up everybody, and what's up Proto Demand? What's up Stinkfist69? Welcome to the chat. Sorry that I started a little later than normal, but I guess it worked out for some people around the world. Detective Ferret with the $5 super chat question. I recently picked up Legacy and Kingdom Blaster with Eject, and I was wondering, are we going to get the rest of the cassettes? Oh, it's a given. It's a given, 200%. Not only are we going to get the cassettes, they're going to do them obviously in retail, but then we're going to get repaints of those cassettes. We're going to get like the Kiss Play colors. We're going to get, shattered glass colors. They're going to do a Hasbro Generation Selects box set like they did before with Soundwave, where you got Wing Thing and you got who else was in that box set? They did a whole bunch. It was Wing Thing. They did the cassettes based off of Double Dealers guys too, like of his Power Masters. So for sure, 200%. That's money on the table. Certain things, it's like, it's not a matter of if they'll do it, but when are they going to do it? It's not that if they're going to do it, it's more like, when is it? Is it going to be next week, the week after that, a month from now? But for sure, 100%. You don't make a blaster with an opening chest for one guy. You don't. And they're going to do Eject in normal colors too, because they're going to be like, well, we did in the clear colors. Now we're going to do it in the normal colors. And that'll be a 2-pack with Eject and Rewind. And then that 2-pack will then be repainted into other characters, like Rosanna and Flipsides, which would be pretty cool. I want to get a Rosanna figure with the Kiss Play Rosanna right there. Good old Rosanna, singing her heart out. Paul M with the super chat for 5 bones. Can Legacy Menasor connect the lower limbs showing the underside? Hold on, was it? Can Legacy Menasor connect the lower limbs showing the underside of the car mode? Let's pull up some images here for you, Paul. No, not that one. Where's the one with drag strip? Oh, not drag strip, with breakdown. So there's the back there on the bottom right. Let's just edit that a little bit and make it easier for you, brother. There we go. Blow that up. There we go. So, can Legacy Menasor connect the lower limbs showing the underside of the car mode? Probably not. It's probably like the way that the gimmick is done is when you peg in those pieces, it auto transforms and closes up that double door, if you will. Like, where's that other image there with Mark? It closes up that double door because he was showing how when you put your finger in those holes, giggity, when you put those fingers in the holes, it closes it up. So, and I think that was an intended reason, just to kind of have that gray to match the character model, because the character model was painted in all gray. Again, that's the simplicity of the animation model, unfortunately. So I think that's kind of what they were going with. But I mean, that's something we're going to have to see when we have it in hand. You know, that's the big thing is when we have it in hand, we'll know for sure. Aiden Tolbert for the $2 super chat. Imagine if Grimlock will be voiced by Idris Elba. Why does that name sound familiar? Who is that? Who is that? That was from one of the Marvel movies? I'm bad. I just have to warn you guys, I am terrible with actors. So you have to help me out with that. Downright Superb is now a YouTube member. He is now part of the mini cons. Thank you, Downright Superb, for joining YouTube membership and helping support the pod. Lizard Sphere X. Oh, hold on. Princeton Phalanx. Sorry if I miss anybody. I just got to scroll up. Princeton Phalanx. They turn into Nicey's alt mode. Oh, okay. Costs $130. Oof, that's where you kill me. Hey, I have no problem with a sexy robot, but when it's a sexy robot for $130, that could go towards so many like G1 stuff that I might be missing. I'm going to put that $130 and get me a complete, who am I missing? Oh, get me a pretender shell or something, you know, that I might be missing. That's a lot of cheese that I have to grade. Lizard Sphere X, I'm going to imagine a Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus as Tekkaman Blade. I love Tekkaman Blade. It has a really cool intro. Like the character with a touch of Jekyll and Hyde. Tekkaman Blade is awesome. I think its second season's intro is really good. Or was it called Techno Man in America? Played on Fox in the mornings. Andy Davis, howdy y'all. Better late than never. Looking forward to the replay. Yeah, Andy, there'll be a replay. As always, there's usually like 30 minutes after the stream ends, it goes down. YouTube has to process it to make sure I didn't like flash a boob or something, and then it goes into replays. You got to make sure that it's kosher, this podcast. Stinkfist 60. Oh, he's replying to Downright. Miss Tolan's question here. And what currency is that, Tolan? Tolan, what currency is that? Tolan Rabando with 5 something. Maybe it's, I don't know. What is that? Ruples? Hey, Proto, why don't you upload the podcast segments on Spotify? Also, could I send a hello? Can you send a hello for Nutellas of Cybertron? Oh, it's a Brazilian group. Oh, cool, bro. Brazilian group. That's awesome. That is awesome. Could you send a hello to the Nutellas? You sound like you're a spread of hazelnuts. Nutellas of Cybertron. Well, hello, the Nutellas of Cybertron. I wish I had one of the Brazilian exclusive mini bots nearby. They're all the way up there. Bring it down to show you guys. Brazil. That's awesome. Thank you for watching from Brazil, Tolan. I guess whatever, that's Brazilian currency. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. As for the segments being on Spotify, the problem is, honestly, because people always say, like, why don't you put it on iTunes or Spotify or anything like that? It's how the podcast is put together. I work a normal 9 to 5, and then I come home, and then I look at this thing right here, and I go, all right, let's do this. And then I record a segment, and then it goes out. And just putting it on YouTube, recording and putting on YouTube eats 2 hours. To then put it on Spotify and stuff, I'd have to hire somebody. I think when we reach a point where the podcast is making $500 a month or something, maybe I could get someone to kind of help with the show. Because the YouTube revenue, unfortunately, it's just not there. It's just not there. So But who knows? Look, the podcast is growing. Like, look, we're the #1 Transformer podcast in the world, and it's still not sustaining insane money that it could like pay for itself. Let's put it that way. Shout out to the other podcasts, but I know the grind. Let's put it that way. It's pretty crazy. Downright superb. Think we can have an extra Patreon tier for $20 to have an exclusive 30-minute discussion after the main show. That's a good incentive. Just want to support you more, but I don't know. But I know time is limited. Whoa, man! See, the thing is that after the live, I have to right away turn off everything, then right away set it to upload to YouTube. And when it's uploading, I have to then start writing the description, the tags, everything like that. That alone is half an hour. And at that point, it's already usually in general, we're at 10 o'clock at night. Then it's 10:30. Depending on my day, sometimes I got to go eat. I haven't even eaten yet. It's tough. My bigger concern, honestly, is when the big V, aka when that's going to be a lot more, light, and the world will be opened up again. I'm worried if the Saturday night live streams will be more consistent, because I might be busy doing something that day. Like the live streams were born out of the lockdowns and everything, not the Transformer. It's what the big V did, and the lockdowns just led to me on a Saturday night going maybe I'll just turn on the webcam and see what happens. If you watch those early live streams, they didn't have any of this. I just turned on, I literally took my iPad, put it in stream mode, and said, let's see what happens. And the rest was history, so to speak. But look, we have the $25 tier on Patreon because I feel that if you guys are giving me something, I want to give something back. And at the $25 tier, I always send a goodie basket. And I'm working on this crazy project for the gift basket tier and above. And I'm going to send it to everyone that's of that tier, even if they already got their gift basket already. It's a cool, I don't want to spoil it. Let's put it this way. It's a small little transforming something that's part of G1 history that's never been done before. That's all I'm going to say. It's something really cool. It's not anything oh my God, wow, cool, but it's a little something that I've been working on. Let's just say I have people that do third-party stuff, and it's not a bootleg of anything. It's not encroaching on any original IPs, nothing like that. It's an original idea, a little transforming thing that could kind of exist within that 80s universe of Transformers, and it's going to be an extra little bonus I'm going to send to all my $25 members when that's complete. It was something I've been planning for a while, and then when the big V came, all the factories just got, completely boned, and we're just waiting for that opportunity to run those out so we can make 200 units, and then hopefully those 200 units will keep us busy for the next couple of years. I'll send it for free. I'm covering the shipping. You don't even have to worry about that. I'm going to send it for free to all my $25 tier patrons, even new ones, old ones, anyone that's still active on the $25 tier or above. And afterwards, then I'm going to bring a couple of them to TFCon, and I guess I'll sell those, so that way some of my cost of manufacturing. But they'll be free to all my $25 and above tier patrons. And again, that's just something I've been working on for a while now. Where are we at here? Lizard Sphere X, we are canceling the apocalypse. I wish you could, my friend. I wish you could. I'm worried that maybe even my TFCon appearance might be in jeopardy, because now there's another variant, and it's named after EX Exchange, the website that I go to learn about exchange rates. How dare they name it after one of my favorite websites to visit when it comes to foreign currency. That's the real thing. James Hobson with the $5 super chat. Have you noticed yet that the lower legs for the new Menasor connect via Combiner War connections? That's what a lot of people have been saying. They've been saying that they see Combiner Wars connections. But I mean, would Hasbro really put a throwback to something that came out 8 years ago? Like, would they do something like that? Like an 8-year-old mold? Like, they'd be like, hey, man, you know that, like, 8-year-old mold? You don't have to buy those combiner limbs. Like, you don't need to buy our new Wild Rider or Breakdown or Dead End or Drag Strip. You just get those old molds you have. In fact, they're probably super cheap right now because everyone's unloading them. I don't think they would kind of be in competition with themselves like that and put something like that. It would be kind of silly to do something like that. I mean, I've heard people say that, but I don't have it in person, so I can't confirm it. Because I have all those limbs. I could try it out, but I don't got it. Joseph Ritter with the super chat for 5 bones. Can you explain how to become a member for all of us newbies? Well, you have two kinds of membership. You have YouTube membership, which is just the link below, the join button. What that gets you is unlimited questions for the live streams, and just pretty much you get little icons and all kinds of stuff, and it's next to your name. So when you do comments during the regular segments, you have a little icon next to your name. As you are a member longer, it opens up, it unlocks other icon choices. So like I think at this point I have Hot Rod, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Optimus Prime. If you're a member for 2 years, you get the Matrix of Leadership. No one has gotten that one yet, but some people are getting pretty close to it. But that's one way. The second way is Patreon. And Patreon, there's also a link below. And Patreon, that gets your name in the end credits scroll at the end of every segment, gets you access to the Transformer Slag Discord, but it doesn't get you unlimited questions in the live stream. So it's kind of, you pretty much choose what you want, because there's different prices, different benefits, different tiers. Again, check the Patreon one because it has all the lists and stuff, and a lot of cool stuff. I try to offer something that gives back to people, because I feel that, if you're giving me money, then at least I could give you knowledge or some way to save money. If you're giving me like $5 a month on Patreon or $10 a month on Patreon, I'm hoping that I could give you $5 in savings in retail, sales and stuff like that, or something that's in our buy, sell, trade section on our Discord. Or I'm always trying to figure out something. John Mayer, welcome back, John, with the super chat for $5. Car Roboto, one of my favorite Transformers series. Kodo Roboto, Robots in the Skies 2000 was a phenomenal series in my humble opinion, but we don't revisit it that much. What could we see being revisited as new product? Well, let's think of it this way, right? So if we're talking Western trademarks, because that whole line was, you can barely see it, but that whole line was Western trademarks. So you can see some of the build team over there. So you have like all those trademarks are still active to this day, with the exception of probably Sideburn. I think that's the only one that's not active anymore. But like, look, Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, all the build team members were pretty much named after built like what do you have? Like Grimlock was the name of one of them, and then you had Hightower. And then I guess the JRX members, those ones, aka what do you call it, Rail Racer, those aren't around anymore. And would you want to do bullet trains in a Western market? That's a tough one. You know what? I could see them being take a construction kind of team. If we do see like combiners of Devastator, you could color them and do Robots in Disguise colors, not original molds. A Lamborghini Prowl. I mean, we already have not Deep Cover. What's his name? His Lamborghini brother equivalency. Lamborghini police car kind of exists in G1 already, so to call it Prowl would be kind of confusing for the market. Again, Sideburn is one that I would hope, but did it do well? I know that Takara, when they did a reissue of Fire Convoy and God Magnus, it didn't sell well. It didn't sell well at all. There was a lot of problems with that one. So that might have something to do with the fact that Car Robots isn't getting the love, combined with the fact that Car Robots didn't really do that well, and neither did Robots in Disguise. That's why there was that huge shift to Transformers Armada. If you listen to, again, I might as well plug it. If you listen to the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, part one, this is part two, but part one, we talked about how Robots in Disguise wasn't selling that well, and Brian Goldner pretty much asked Aaron Archer, we're gonna create a new Transformers, a new world. So actually, that's all the Unicron trilogy. Cybertron, Energon, and Armada, Micron no Detsetsu. But I mean, I think it has the best Transformer theme song of all time, Car Robots, Hono no Overdrive. But I mean, it's a possibility. It's a trademark thing. Maybe we'll see Sideburn one day. Maybe we'll see I don't know, Indie Heat, aka Skids Z, a purple Formula One. Maybe they'll repaint the Mirage, give them that color scheme. Yeah, you just got to kind of think like that. Like, what could be done? Wrecker Hook. What was he called? He was called Tow Line. I think he was called in America. Do tow line, do a weird kind of baby blue color scheme on that hoist mold, I guess. We'll see, John. We'll see. That's a tough one. I'm sure they'll do something at some point. Maybe for an anniversary, which actually passed, but maybe next anniversary. Downright superb for information. Check your Kingdom Tigatron. Somebody posted a pic of yellowing on some of the joints. Yellowing on some of the joints. I checked mine. Not as bad on mine, but you could definitely tell if you look hard enough. Joints where? Is that yellowing? I don't know. Maybe because I live in Canada. I don't know. Is it supposed to yellow? That's plastisol oxidation. Let's see. Stinkfist69. I'm a member on both. He's both a patron and a YouTube member. Stinkfist69 is a baller. He is a baller. He's got it all covered. Stinkfist69 goes on to say, have you watched Moon Knight, and what's your thoughts? I have not watched it yet. I have not had time to watch Moon Knight at all. I have not had time to watch. There's like this new anime too that all my friends keep telling me to watch. What's it called? Love Before World Domination? Something like that. Where it's a parody of a Power Ranger series, but the Red Ranger fall in loves with like the main villainess. And it's like a romance Power Ranger thing. And all my friends are like, that's going to be the new hot anime of the year. And I haven't even had a chance to watch that. And I think that's 2 episodes in, that one. Like I just had this week was bananas. Between all the Transformer news, summer starting to roll out and me having to change the winter tires on all a bunch of people into summer tires. I had to bring in the car to do a nice car wash, get all that salt off of the car. So it's been a crazy week. Maybe I'll try to find some time to watch it, but I hope it's not like 2-hour episodes and there's 13 episodes of that, because I am not going to sit through that kind of stuff, especially for Moon Knight. I don't care how good it is. Tom Laney, got Menosaur Combiner coming. They do others. How do you think they will combine the aerial bots together using cargo transformers? Can't have a trailer connection with Silverbolt. That's a very good question. The only explanation I could think of is Silverbolt had also a base mode gimmick. He had kind of like a ramp kind of thing, and a little bit of extra pieces too. They could make some kind of extra trailer piece that Silverbolt carries under him. It would look ugly. It would not be on model, but that could be the case. If there is an issue, then maybe that might also tell us why we might not be getting the aerial bots. Maybe something like Onslaught with the Combaticons would be more doable. Maybe something like Hotspot with that whole back end that's practically Fire Convoy. There's your Robots in Disguise repaint. Would be more realistic. So I think that's probably a reason why we might not get the aerial bots first. A lot of hoops that have to jump through. Prince and Phalanx, I think Moon Knight is really enjoyable. Let's keep scrolling down. Tom Laney, thanks. Makes you wonder. I can see Technobots work, making additional to Scattershot in his cannon mode. See that, in my opinion, Scattershot's another one of those where it's kind of like the aerial bots, where if you do add something extra, I feel like you're kind of taking away from the final product. Like you look at Menasor, right? And the one good thing about Menasor, at least, Motormaster, is when you look at that Motormaster alt mode, you're not adding anything to the animation model. You're not adding anything that was already there, you know? So that's something pretty cool, where when you're going to have to do that with, let's say, Silverbolt for Superion, you're going to have to add a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't there before with the alt mode. Same thing with Scattershot. But with something like, let's say, Onslaught or Hotspot, you could just have like the front end makes the robot mode and the back end becomes the pieces. You know, they're both kind of long truck kind of things. And that makes it a lot more doable, in my opinion. Alice Trap, the yellow paint on Tigatron reflects how some real white tigers have a little yellow on them. As far as the plastic turning yellow might be a concern, is that what, I don't know, like he's talking about the joints though. I understand like these parts. That's not that. But like, are you talking about like, I don't know. Mine looks pretty good. I could put them next to the Masterpiece one, and the colors are pretty on. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm blind. Maybe I'm blind. But yeah. Man, just trying to think of what else did we skip in terms of news. There was the announcement of MPM 13. Supposedly we're getting a brand new movie Masterpiece toy that's going to be announced next week. So who's that movie Masterpiece going to be? Is it going to be a Rise of the Beast character? Is it going to be, you know, filling out one of the movie 2007 or Revenge of the Fallen characters that they didn't get to yet? So there's going to be that big announcement next week for movie Masterpieces. What else was announced? There was also some listings from Rise of the Beast stuff. But that's all stuff I'm going to cover probably later this week in individual segments when there's more information. Make it a lot more interesting. That's how I see it. Because I feel that it's always like when Monday comes, it's quiet at first on Monday, and then it all just comes in the news like crazy, like the beginning of the week. Not to mention it's the holidays. You know, it's Easter Monday, Passover, Good Friday, whatever other holidays for what other religions or people. So I think that might slow things down too. You know, but we'll see what happens for, you know, movie Masterpiece, whoever that's going to be. Big Boy, could be Blackout. Yeah, could be Blackout. That'd be huge though. MP13, it's cursed. It's bad luck. Prince and Phalanx Wave 2 Core Class Daniel found in USA. Oh, well, there you go. That's good. Are we talking Legacy? Are we talking Legacy, though? Or are we talking Studio Series 86? Oh, no. Wave 2 Core Class Daniel found in the USA. They're talking to me, Daniel. My real name's Daniel, for people that don't know. Downward Superb Tigatron yellowing. The joints that connect the shoulder to the body and the joints that connect the legs to the lower body. Okay. No, I'm not seeing it. I mean, do you see it? With the HD camera? No? There we go. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Is it supposed to be bone white? Same thing? I don't know. Maybe it's oxygen exposure. Maybe there's not enough oxygen here, and that's why I don't think straight. I saw a picture. I'll try to track it down. Okay, yeah, post it. Post it if it's something that's actually an issue. Maybe people need to know about it. especially considering that that's going to be a valuable toy in the future, Tigatron. I firmly believe in like 2 years from now, like this is going to be a tough item to get for sure. Late wave only version of him outside of the Tony the Tigatron, Mutant Tigatron. Tom Laney G-Axis could make a good Thunderwing repaint. That'd be a really good one. I love Thunderwing. I would love a Thunderwing. That'd be a really good one. Tom Laney, I hope your idea happens. We got a $5 super chat from Goho Meister 77. I love that name. Goho Meister 77. Is a Power Rangers crossover possible or a bad idea because they are too similar? I get asked this question a lot, actually. I did a segment on the podcast talking about Power Rangers and Transformers crossing over and how that pitch would be. It could be done. It could be fun. It could be done with Boom Studios with the comics. It's just that usually when those crossovers happen, it's one brand helping another. Power Rangers is doing just fine right now, and so is Transformers, so they don't really need to cross over right now. If Power Rangers is doing a little weak, or if Power Rangers is doing a little weak, then they'll do a crossover, and then it'll help each other out. But it could be done, for sure. Big robots beating the hell out of each other. Sure, the sizes are different, but they could do something, for sure. Detective Ferret with the $5 super chat. How many Bayformers are left to get figures in Studio Series? Oh, I had a text file on my computer somewhere where I was like, okay, here's everything that's missing that's within, like, let's say 2007 to the last night. Like, I made a huge list of, like, everything. Obviously not, like, super obscure background characters. Like, you know, Blender guy with the the phallic robot mode. But all of the major named characters, there is a list out there. Now, I think that was a Patreon listener question, I want to say. I answered it like 2 years ago. But there still is quite a few. There still is quite a few left. Like, we never got like a perfect Dino, in my opinion. I mean, I know we'll never get a perfect Dino, but it's, you know, that Ferrari's being Ferrari. Downright superb. So how much of a hassle is it to put Legacy Soundwave into a new style of packaging? Is that a big deal? By the way, the original can be $35 or more on eBay. Really? Well, I'm pretty sure I could find a Siege Soundwave, loose complete, on the message boards for less than MSRP. For sure. So it's not really that it's a hassle. It's coming off of the same factory line and assembled the same way like any of the other toys. So not too much of an issue, because it's not like they're taking old product and then taking it out and putting it in new packaging. It's literally being produced in the factory the exact same way, coming off of the sprues, being assembled, being painted a different way or lack thereof paint, and being shipped to the packaging facilities in Canada, and then off to the races, to all the Walmarts, Targets, and Toys R Us Canadas, and everything else. Lizard Sphere X, I hope Motormaster gets an Armada Optimus remold. Oh, no. We got to get a brand new Armada Optimus Prime, not just a remold. And if he gets Thunderclash, maybe a remold of Limboys. Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Of them. Yeah. You know what? That would be really cool, because then you would have all the members and stuff too. Like Flash. Flash would be really cool to Flash, not the DC character, Flash, the UK character. UK Flash, UK Boss, UK Hurricane. What was the last one? It was Boss, Hurricane, Flash. God, what was the last one? It was a white one. What was the white one called? Anyways, all off the top of my head. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. That'd be what? Now, hold on a second. Wait a minute. So you could retool Wild Rider into Flash. You could possibly retool. See, Boss is going to be the only tough one. Boss is the only one where you're going to have like a new mold or something. Unless you just make them another sports car or something. Ah, that'd be a good idea. Ah, I like that, Lizard Sphere X. That'd be a really cool idea. Send it to Hasbro. Tom Lady, notice we are getting a lot more package refreshes. Is this the save money? The package refreshes is because of the Big V. Like, a lot of people have been wondering, like, why are we getting so many of those? Like, why is that happening? It's literally because they didn't have enough time to plan out full deluxe assortments or full Voyager or Leader, and you have to fill it in. You know, like, look, guys, there was a point between, like, 2020, you know, February and June where they thought it was going to be the end of the world. And you have to understand, they plan these ideas like 8 to 12 months in advance before they even get anywhere. So it shows you just how backed up they are, that everything got messed up. I think we're gonna get back to a normal schedule at some point, and there's gonna be a lot less of those fillers, if you will, those package refreshes. And I appreciate them. You know, oh, we're gonna give a slight deco difference to make it a little different, and it does give people opportunities to pick up stuff that they may have missed. I mean, when you think about it, right? Like, one of the very first package refreshes that we ever got was Rung. Rung was a late wave siege mold. Actually, where's my boxed version of it? Ugh. Hold on. I have a boxed version of it here. There we go. So Rung was late wave siege wave 1, right? Imagine if that... I always have Earthrise here. But imagine if that didn't happen. Like, imagine if he was stuck wave 1 for I think it was wave 4. Wave 4 forever, or wave 5. Super tough to get. It's the only way you could get Rung, that unique mold. He would have went through the roof, but they package refreshed him into Earthrise, and he was plentiful. So sometimes it works out, but then sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes no one cares about getting Wheeljack again or RC again. Even though I don't hate those molds, I'm just saying, like, some people don't care. Proto, is there any TF characters named Diaclon? Do they have that trademark? Unfortunately, no, they don't. Takara has a Diaclone line right now, a Diaclone line right now in Japan, and I'm pretty sure they're working some way to have the trademark alive through that. So I think that protects it, maybe, because I think it's called Shin Diaclone or Diaclone Reboot. It's called officially in Japan. So I think it's safe, but in a very indirect kind of way. Lizard Sphere. No, wait, hold on. Tom Laney, is this to be a new norm? I don't think so. Tom Laney, yeah, he said that. Lizard Sphere X, whoops, didn't realize that Turbomasters were a thing. Yeah. Tom Laney, they are at least can do figures, but it'd be a hard time getting. Yeah, well, look, I like the idea of them just giving people opportunities. And if it gives people opportunities and it also fills the holes that exist within the deluxe assortments or the Voyager assortments because they couldn't do that, everybody wins. David Cabal, what's up, David? Tom Laney, it's like getting Lando in Black Series. Was that a similar situation where they reissued him? But that's why you have to sometimes, you can't just like think about yourself like, oh, well, I already got Siege Soundwave, so I don't need him anymore, but I really want that Netflix one. And I understand the pain. The Netflix one is the one that people wanted. But at the same time, they had to put something. Maybe the Netflix one is tied up with stuff with Walmart right now, and we will get it at some point, but that just isn't the case. Oh man, we have only 14 minutes left? Damn. Downright superb. Proto, are we ever going to see a specific Power Master gimmick in toys again? I would hope so, because Power Master gimmicks are Godmaster gimmicks, and Godmaster gimmicks are part of Master Force, and Master Force is one of my favorite Transformer series of all time. So that means if you're going to give me more Master Force characters, possibly a Road King, a.k.a. Slapdash, you know, give me the whole crew, you know, one of my Master Force kid books. Look at them. Look how cool they are. Got on. Let's see what's inside here. You get the whole crew there. Isn't that cool? Look at that. No, I would love it. I would love it 100%. Give me all of these guys. 2 of them are Canadian. 2 of them are Canadian. One's from France and one's from America. International Fighting Transformer Team. Sabertron Senshi Transform. I'd be down for that. What is your thoughts on the Jada Toys die-cast Transformer figures? Just got them. They look pretty good, except for RC. She looks like Ronald McDonald. I didn't. You're talking about the multi-pack there. I didn't get it yet. I want it just for Hot Rod. I'll probably get it at some point. Really, it looks like Ronald McDonald. Why is there like red on her helmet or something? I mean, I think they're cool. I mean, they are what they are. Like to paint something that small and to get all the details perfect at an MSRP of like what, like they're cheap. Like when they do the individual pack ones, like I think what are those, like $5, and it's die cast, which is more expensive than plastic, and it's done in a factory that's probably like splotch of pink, splotch of blue, splotch of, you know, like it's tough to do those. I just want the little Hot Rod one that's like he's posed like this, looks like he's like going Super Saiyan or something. And then all the other ones will just be bonuses, just extras on the side. It's all about getting me that Hot Rod figure. Unfortunately, I think the good gimmicks are gone. No, there's not. It's not that the good gimmicks are gone. You know, mini cons are a cool gimmick. Little Transformer that transforms, it also unlocks a gimmick. Power Masters is like a mini con too. It kind of unlocks a transformation. So, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. You know, it's a whole new world, man, and there's always new kinds of situations. Let's see. Someone just said some images were leaked online already. Really? Let us see. What Canadian? Which ones? 2 of the Power Masters are Canadian. Ranger is a Canadian Ranger. His name is Motormaster Ranger. And then you have Lightfoot, aka Rightfoot, if you pronounce it like the Japanese, but Lightfoot. And Lightfoot is Canadian too. He's the RX-7 Power Master. Or Godmaster. And in Japan, I believe Minerva was half Canadian. She was born in Quebec, although that was retconned by BotCon, where we knew that she was half French, but we didn't know what kind of French. Was it France French or was it Canadian French? Now we know it's Canadian French from Quebec. So that makes Minerva double cool. Let's see. We got 10 minutes left. We'll take a few more super chats and then we'll call it a night. I apologize again for it running late, like always, but it was a crazy day. It was a crazy, crazy day with a lot of news. The question is who are you most excited about from this craziness? Because, man, there was a lot. Again, for me, it's Tarantulas. Tarantulas is absolutely incredible. Like, if you look at everything that's here, like, man, Tarantulas that is some awesome stuff. Like, that's a masterpiece. It's a mini masterpiece. Like, that is something that I would expect from Takara to do and just put that heft of weight and plastic of ABS and just rock it. And then, you know, obviously the masterpiece will probably include some little extra accessories, maybe his little like crawling, you know, minions that he would have, the little lights, the little, not light bulb, flashlight spiders that he used to have, those little ones there. But good golly, what a reveal. Like, in all honesty, in all my years of doing the podcast and stuff, I have never seen a more loaded week of Transformer news ever. Like, it's never been that loaded. And look how diverse too, because look at this image, right? You get Generation 1 1986 combiners. You get pre-Cybertron Siege. You get Generation 2. You get Transformers Prime. You get Triple Changer Generation 1. You get Female Autobot Generation 1. You get Beast Wars, you know? Like, there's literally a little bit of everything where there's no reason, Like say, oh, there's nothing for me, in Legacy. There's a little bit of something for everybody. Princeton Phalanx with the super chat question. I got to work on the alerts. I used to have the alerts that would pop up with Bumblebee for the super chats. I don't know. I have to fix that. Something happened to it. OBS has been having a lot of problems with their server. Princeton Phalanx with the super chat for 5 bones. What is a good resource to price Transformers for selling? Sold listings on eBay. End of story. End of story. 100% sold. Oops, why did I open that one? 100% sold listings on eBay. It's the most organic and honest answer. So many times people ask me, "Oh, this Transformer is going for this much. Look how much people are asking on eBay." Not buy it nows, not what someone is asking in a message board or a forum, not what people say. What is the sold listings on eBay, and are they recent sold listings? Like, look what this guy's going for right now, and then look what this guy's going for sold listings in, let's say, 6 months. That's the organic answer. So always sold listings on eBay. That's the best way to tell. Anything else is pure speculation. There is no Transformer price guide. That world doesn't exist anymore. It really doesn't. Like Toy Fair magazine with price guides. Oh, hey, Jetfire's worth $25 back in 1997. Man, imagine how many people were eating that one. Good Lord. Tom Laney, Wave 2 is definitely better than Wave 1. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff in Wave 2, although Wave 1 was fun. Motormaster can't wait to recreate the scene where he goes head-to-head with Optimus, literally, and wrecks him. You have to change the ending. They both crashed, but somehow Optimus walked away from it like nothing happened. Stinkfist69, I'm excited to get all of them. David Cabal, I would love a Simpsons crossover with Elita-One. The Homa. Ladies and gentlemen, now the Homa. It's got to be the Homer. Let's pull her up, just for the heck of it. Where are you, Alita? It's got to be the Homer. It's got to be green. And it's got to have a built-in voice chip that's voiced by Danny DeVito yelling, "I'm ruined." Ladies and gentlemen, the Homer. Man, everyone's been memeing so bad on her. But I'm telling you guys, like, it's just Minerva. It's Minerva that just they had to shoehorn a Elita-One mold into it. I'm telling you, that's literally what it is. The past 5 years, we've had a lot of G2 repaints, and now getting more. Is G2 going to be the new pillar for modern Transformers? Will they do new media for that? Nah, I think it's just because G2, much like Shattered Glass, is inherently a repaint kind of idea. Like, we're getting a lot of G2, but with the exception of like something like G-Axis, it's always been repaints. It's always been G2 repaint homages. And then when Hasbro went, oh, wait a minute, now we have Shattered Glass, now you have the go-to for that, where it's like, hey, we got this mold, Shattered Glass colors, G2 colors, that's the easy way. Vinny Vengeance, that's a new one. How you doing, Vinny? Vinny Vengeance with the $5 super chat. Now that G-Axis has a new figure, do you think the Thrilling 30 figure will drop drastically in value or very little? Oh, I think it'll drop, brother. I think it'll drop. One thing that you have to understand with Transformer fans is they don't pursue rare figures. They pursue rare figures that are the best interpretations of those characters. Before this guy came out, what was the best Tigatron figure? The original one. The Telemocha colored one, more specifically. But that original mold. And it used to go for like $60. Now with the reissue that's going to be in Walmart and that Kingdom one kicking around, goes down. Same thing, that orange repaint of Armada Starscream with the retooling and everything, no one's going to care about that. Everyone's going to want that Voyager one. Yeah, maybe in like 20 years from now, when people become like, oh, I want to get a complete set of Thrilling 30 and there's not many of that orange one kicking around. Yeah, it might creep up in value. But I think there's going to be a lot of buy it nows that are going to be asking a lot of money. But when you're going to look at sold listings, there's not going to be that many that are high. And in my opinion, I don't know right now what the G-Axis orange Starscream retool repaint from Thrilling 30 is going for. But let's make a note right now what it goes for. and then let's revisit this in 2 months and see what happens. For sure. You'll get a better idea of that. Thank you for the super chat, Venny. Downright Superb Proto, what would you say is the best TF crossover with a band? With a band? Cybertron Spree. Because it wouldn't have to be a crossover. I don't know. I'd have to say Daft Punk. 100%. Daft Punk Transformers. Daft Punk music. Daft Punk is born for Transformers. 200%. Rest in peace, Daft Punk. To never have music again from them is a frickin' crime. What a crime. What a crime. We got 1 minute and 30 seconds left before I then do the closing. So get in your super chats with that 1 minute and 30 seconds left. And then we will call it quits for the night. And Daniel, a.k.a. Protoman, is going to go get something to eat. He has some egg rolls and beautiful rice. Hold on, it's rice white noodles waiting upstairs for me. I'm going to throw it in the old microwave and just get that good stuff. They've broken up, though. Yeah, I know. It's over for them, but it'd be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice if they did do some music again. I love their music. I remember taking trips to Toronto when their latest album came out with Get Lucky and listening to that album 1,000,000 times over all the way that 5-hour drive to Toronto. It was so good. So good. They're so talented, those guys. I have memories of them when I was a kid listening to all their music. They're so cool. Wow, this is news to some people. Yeah, Daft Punk is no longer a thing, guys. Stinkfist69, don't forget to thumbs up the video, people. Oh, thank you, Stinkfist. Don't forget the thumbs up. Don't forget to join the Patreon or become a YouTube member. That really helps the channel, too. Thumbs up also helps. Doesn't cost you anything. Leaving a comment in the replays, that helps, too. Subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, why haven't you subscribed yet? Subscribe to the channel. Sharing the videos, sharing them around helps, too. But, I can only tell you guys to do so much. It's up to you to decide the future of this podcast. And we are done. We are at the 2-hour mark. We went 2 hours. I apologize for, again, being late. It is what it is. So again, thank you all for coming. Thanks again for another fantastic Transformer Slag podcast live stream. There will be new segments on Monday and new news, so be sure to tune in. Tomorrow is Sunday. It is my day off. I'm going to use it to rake leaves and rake the front of the yard now that winter is over. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Thanks again for Symbiote Studios and Hasbro for being supporters of the podcast and sponsors of all the awesomeness. Be sure to go to symbiotestudios.com and pick up a plush or a pin. Get a nice pin. Get yourself a Shockwave pin for yourself. Get yourself a Shockwave pin. And these are like high quality pins, by the way. They're metal pins. They're not like, those cheap, enamel garbage or anything. These are metal pins. Got my Catnip Bravo one. You could go get the Catnip Bravo collab ones too. Get yourself a cool t-shirt. Help support the podcast by going to get some stuff too if you want. I don't get any money, but it helps them. It helps them, and they're a bunch of cool dudes. So anyways, guys, thanks all for coming. It's always great to have all you guys here. We topped out at about 170 people. And you are the chosen few that stuck around to listen to me ramble to the end. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to everybody. Like I always say, it's a crazy world out there with a lot of crazy people. Don't be part of that crazy. Be a good person. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your hobby. And just relax tomorrow on a lazy Sunday. And like I always say, roll out.